You ever notice how sometimes in the most serious, tense, or awkward moments you just laugh? Not because it's funny, not because you're trying to be rude, but because your body just reacts. And then afterward you're like, why did I do that? What is wrong with me? If that sounds familiar, hey, come sit with me for a minute, because I want to walk you through something that a lot of people experience, but almost nobody talks about clearly: why some people laugh when they're nervous. And trust me, there's a much deeper story behind it than you think. So grab a drink, get comfortable, pretend we're just two friends on a couch talking through something human and real. You know, I don't think people give enough credit to just how smart the body is. We tend to judge ourselves from the outside. Why did I act weird? Why did I laugh? Why couldn't I be serious? But your nervous laughter, it's actually your body trying to protect you. And the funny thing is, most people don't even realize they do it until someone points it out. It's like this automatic reaction that kicks in when something feels overwhelming emotionally, socially, or even physically. You ever have one of those moments where someone asks you a serious question, and instead of giving a serious answer, you kind of chuckle? But the laugh feels thin, almost hollow, like you're not actually amused, you're just trying to soften something. Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. Let me tell you a little story. I had a friend who, whenever things got too intense, even during arguments, would laugh. Not full laughter, but that little he under her breath, and it drove people around her crazy. They thought she didn't care, or she wasn't taking things seriously, or she was making fun of them. But what they didn't know, and what she didn't even fully understand at the time, was that the laugh wasn't about the situation at all. It was about her nervous system going into overdrive. Because here's the thing, when your brain doesn't know how to process something, it tries to diffuse the tension. Sometimes that looks like withdrawing. Sometimes it looks like shutting down, and sometimes, especially for people who grew up in unpredictable environments, it looks like laughing. Nervous laughter is the body's version of saying, hey, this is too much. Let me make this feel lighter, so we can survive it. It's survival, not disrespect. Now, let's talk psychology for a second, but in a way that actually makes sense. There's this concept called misattribution of arousal. Basically, when you're overwhelmed, whether that's from fear, embarrassment, tension, or even emotional closeness, your brain mixes up the signals. It doesn't know whether to fight, flee, freeze, so sometimes it chooses laugh. Not because the moment is funny, but because laughter is one of the body's oldest social tools for saying, I come in peace. Think about it. Humans laugh to bond. We laugh to disarm. We laugh to show we're not a threat. So if you grew up always having to keep the peace, if you were the one who had to calm people down, avoid conflict, or lighten the mood, your body learned laughter as a safety mechanism. And it sticks with you, even as an adult. I want to pause here and ask you something softly. Have you ever had someone misjudge you because of this? Maybe they thought you weren't serious, or that you were making fun of them, or that you were emotionally unavailable, and inside you were like, if you only knew how fast my heart is beating right now. Yeah, I hear you. Because nervous laughter doesn't feel funny at all from the inside. From the inside, it feels like you're trying to hold yourself together any way you can. It feels like you're covering a tremor with a smile. And it's wild how we don't talk about this enough. Another thing people don't realize is that nervous laughter often comes from emotional overload. Like when a situation is so intense, too vulnerable, too confrontational, too real that your mind goes, nope, too much, let's soften this. It's like when someone says something incredibly heartfelt to you, and instead of responding, you kind of laugh because you don't know what to do with all that kindness. It's not that you don't appreciate it. It's that your body is overwhelmed by the weight of being seen. Or when someone asks how you're doing after a tough week, and you laugh like, oh, you don't even want to know. Because admitting the truth out loud feels too raw. Laughter becomes a little shield, a tiny buffer, a way to buy yourself a few more seconds to breathe. You know what's really interesting? Sometimes nervous laughter is a sign of high empathy. People who feel deeply often struggle with intense emotions, not just their own, but other people's too. And when you're picking up on tension, disappointment, frustration, or discomfort, your brain tries to soften it. Laughter becomes this unconscious way of protecting not just yourself, but the other person too. It's kind of sweet, honestly. Your body is trying to help, but the misunderstanding happens when people think you're laughing at them, when you're actually laughing for them. Now, let's talk about the part nobody tells you. You're not broken for reacting this way. You're not immature, you're not disrespectful, you're not mocking anyone. And you're definitely not alone. This reaction comes from somewhere, from your wiring, from your past, from your instinct to keep things safe. But here's the cool thing: once you understand why you laugh when you're nervous, you can start to work with it instead of feeling ashamed of it. You can learn to pause, to breathe, to actually name what's happening in the moment. Like saying, "Sorry, I laugh sometimes when I'm anxious. I'm actually taking this seriously." It's a small sentence, but it can change the entire dynamic. Because as soon as people understand the why, the whole thing becomes softer, more human, less confusing. And over time, you might even notice that as you feel safer in your relationships, as you learn to express discomfort more clearly, as you understand your own emotional patterns, the nervous laughter starts to ease. It's not about forcing yourself to stop. It's about teaching your body that you don't need that shield quite as often anymore. You're not broken, you're adapting, and that's something to appreciate, not judge. I want to leave you with this: if you're someone who laughs when you're nervous, that's not a flaw. That's a sign you've survived something. A sign your body learned to protect you in the best way it knew how. And now that you're older and more self-aware and building healthier relationships, you get to choose new ways of handling those moments. But you don't have to do it by shaming the old ones. You're growing. You're learning. You're becoming more emotionally fluent. And that's something worth celebrating. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If this resonated even a little, let me know, because it means the world to know these conversations make someone out there feel a little more understood. And hey, if you laughed nervously while watching this, it's okay. I get it, really.